You're tuned into the first newscast devoted to the Highland Lakes area. Local team coverage on Tribune Headline News, bringing you the stories you care about now. Hi everyone, I'm Connie Swinney. This is the Picayune TV on Northland Channel 15. We bring you stories that affect communities in the Texas Highland Lakes. Here's a look at what we've been working on. One of the worst droughts on record, that's according to assessments by the Lower Colorado River Authority. We have details. The boating season has just begun and some boat ramps along the Colorado River are closing due to low water levels. Are we high and dry here in the Upper Highland Lakes? We have the answer. And you can help. A list of water conservation steps may help ease the burden on area cities gripped by drought.
Could we have some rain this week? Maybe. We'll have those details later in weather.
Thanks, Jared. See you in a moment. This is Tribune Headline News. We'll be right back after the break.
We are established. We are qualified. We are certified. We are knowledgeable. We are dependable. We are Ken's Heating and Air. Our people make the difference.
Welcome back. Colorado River officials are calling it one of the most serious droughts on record since September 2009. The cause? Very little rain and frequent periods of high winds sapping up the moisture in the air. Soil moisture is considered very low and stock ponds are drying up fast. In the past 7 months, rain totals have measured less than a third of normal for this time of year. Less than 1/4 of an inch of rain at a time the past few months has caused inflows to area lakes to dip below normal. Add to that higher than average spring temperatures and higher than average evaporation rates to that equation, and you can see how Lakes Buchanan and Travis, the area's largest reservoirs, would begin to display the most notable effects from the drought. However, officials are adding, lake levels for Buchanan and Travis are still better than 2009 for the time being. Now, the combined storage levels of Buchanan and Travis put the waterways at 72% full. Now, how long the drought will last is tied to weather patterns. We'll have a look at your forecast coming up after the break.
Action on the Diamond highlighted lots of play this weekend. We're going to get you all caught up. Coming up in sports.
Because experience matters. For home, auto, business, health, and life, we are here for you. When Galloway experts make top providers compete for your business, you win. The Galloway Insurance Team since 1935. Earn it, Horseshoe Bay, and Marble Falls.
%20 isn't much of a chance for rain, but at least there is a chance for some much needed rain this week beginning Tuesday night. Here's your Highland Lakes forecast for Northland 15 and the Picayune TV. Today we have mostly sunny skies and a high of 91. Tonight begins that 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms with a low around 73. And we'll keep that 20% chance Wednesday after 4 p.m. as our high is expected to reach 88. Into Wednesday night, that 20% sticks around as lows drop to about 72. Thursday, we still have that 20% chance of thunderstorms and a high of 89. And that 20% chance of rain is gone after Thursday night, but could return Saturday night. We'll have more on those chances later in the week. Until then, for Northland Cable 15 and the Picayune TV, I'm Jared Fields.
Thanks, Jared, for that report. Coming up later, we pass along helpful water conservation methods as well. Next, we go to Jennifer Fierro with sports.
The Marble Falls High School softball team season ended after losing games 2 and 3 to Smithson Valley on Friday. The Lady Rangers hit 9 hits in game 2 to do 6 runs and then turned around and hit 15 hits in game 3 to get 8 runs. We did get a chance to talk to head coach Tino Salazar, who credited the Lady Rangers for outstanding play. He said that they came up with timely hitting when they had players in scoring position, and simply it was their night. Also on tap this weekend were the Lando Yellow Jacket baseball team. Now, they were coming off a 1-0 loss to Fredericksburg on Thursday. The Yellow Jackets were hoping to steal Game 2 and send the series into Game 3. Well, it simply wasn't meant to be. The Billies were able to score 2 runs in the first inning and then a 3rd run in the 3rd inning. Meanwhile, they limited the Yellow Jackets to just 1 run the entire game. The outstanding pitcher for Fredericksburg, junior Ryan Flores, came in the top of the 6th inning and then shut down the Yellow Jackets. Afterwards, we had a chance to talk to both head coaches, Todd Doucette of Fredericksburg and Brad Harmon of Llano. Here's what they had to say.
You know, they got hits when they needed. They did what they needed to do. They got leadoff runners on and bunting them over, got them in scoring position. Sometimes they got them home, sometimes they didn't.
You know, Llano and Brad Harmon's baseball teams are always really good. I thought that was one of the best baseball teams that we had faced all year. So it's a big accomplishment by our guys to come out and play Llano the way we did.
That's it for sports. I'm Jennifer Fierro. Connie, back to you.
Jennifer, thanks. Now, during drought, each city determines its water policy and water restrictions. Many base those policies on their water management plans, which are prescribed by the Lower Colorado River Authority. The city of Burnett has already enacted voluntary water conservation measures. In Marble Falls, water use increases as the temperature heats up because of water plants' limited capacity to clean the water as fast as the demand for it. To avoid these kinds of issues, the LCRA offers a number of recommendations to ease the strain on plants and slow the pace of water consumption. You'd be amazed at the amount of water that can be saved by practicing a few water conservation tips. Checking faucets for leaks could save up to 200 gallons per day. Installing low-flow shower heads could save up to 2 gallons per minute. Taking shorter showers instead of baths, except for those special occasions, can save 2 to 5 gallons per minute. Some more water conservation tips for you. Replace older toilets with higher efficiency ones. Those can save from ½ a gallon to 5 gallons per flush. Avoid rinsing dishes before loading the dishwasher. 20 gallons per load could be saved that way. And only wash full loads of clothing or dishes. In many households, the single biggest water user is the automated irrigation system. It's better to use a handheld hose for outdoor watering instead. Those were your headlines. Thanks so much for watching us. I'm Connie Swinney with the Picayune TV.
Welcome to Tribune Talk with Thomas Edwards, Special Candidates Edition. Here we are today at beautiful Lakeside Pavilion in Marble Falls. We're going to take a look at the Marble Falls City Council. We're putting the hard questions to the candidates. Join us. Today, we have the pleasure of interviewing candidates for the Marble Falls City Council. With me on the panel are incumbent Councilman David Rhodes, incumbent Councilwoman Sharon Pittard, candidates J. Marie Hurst and candidate Ryan Nash. Thank you all for being here today.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our first question for the candidates. What steps will it take to close the city's economic gap? Mr. Nash?
Thomas, that's a tough question that we're going to have to take a hard look at after coming out of the last budget session and running a deficit and already making deep cuts in personnel cost and other maintenance and operation cost across the city budget. We're going to have to look for any additional soft spots in the budget and try to trim out anywhere we can in the short term to stay afloat. In the long term, the only way we're going to close that economic gap is to grow sales tax base and property tax base, and we're going to be waiting on the economic recovery to do that.
Thank you, Mr. Nash. Ms. Hurst, same question.
Thank you. Although I agree with Mr. Nash that we need to continue be a bit more mindful of the cuts. We've done some good cuts in the city staff and spending. We need to be mindful of that and continue our efficiencies in that regard. As we approach our kickoff for the budget planning calendar, we need to focus on the successes as well as the health and safety of our community economically as well as otherwise. We need to be mindful of these decisions as we go forward and what these decisions may mean in our 1, 5, and 10 years out from now. We can't just put an immediate Band-Aid on there, but we need to be mindful of what these cuts could mean in the long term.
Thank you. Mr. Rhodes.
Thank you. I think it's important to note as well, I take a little bit of exception. Ryan said that a deficit city is not a deficit. City is running in a balanced budget, albeit the tax rates is not what a lot of us would like. I think it's important to note two things that got us into this hole other than the large tax increase of several councils back, and that is one, we tend to forget that the large flood that we had some time back took a huge hit on the city's reserves. And we spent a lot of money to rebuild the city at that rate. Secondly, last year, and the reason there was a tax increase on top of that is a large portion of our tax payers voted themselves an exemption. It cost the city $155,000 out of the budget. So it's going to be important to note that we have to get those reserves back because we don't have them. But other than that, the economy needs to move, as Ryan and others have stated.
Thank you, Mr. Rose. And same question, Ms. Pittard.
Okay, I would like to agree with the other candidates, but I want to add that over 70% of the city's revenue comes from sales tax. And so when the businesses do well, the city does well. So the answer to that question would be to encourage businesses and business growth, and of course to reduce the spending.
Thank you very much. The reason why we're taking these questions in this order is we're basing this on the candidates' order on the ballot. Our next question is, what special projects do you support to help boost tourism? And again, the first question goes to Mr. Nash.
Thomas, I would be supportive of projects that enhance our single largest asset, the lakes, and take advantage of the opportunities we have to promote that and attract people to use our lakes more and make them more user-friendly, to bring tourists here, have them spend their dollars here, potentially make a long-term commitment to our city, either by moving here or opening a business here. Other projects that I would be in support of and would like to look further into, or it would be a sports complex, a river walk, a boardwalk.
Thank you very much for your response. Again, same question to Ms. Hurst.
Thank you. I think it's real obvious what our assets are here in the community, and we need to build upon, continue to maintain and build upon those, being the lake, the creeks, the hike and bike trails. We've got a good plan right now on continuing that maintenance, which quite frankly was underscored the importance of that from the flood we had in 2007. It encouraged us to plan better and to be better stewards on taking care of these assets that we have. Continuing the Main Street connection down to the lake, I think, is very important. Main Street's a good asset to be utilized for our tourism. And I think everybody's on board with some type of sports complex here as well. But I think we need to be very mindful of the assets that we have here historically as well as natural. So we want to build on those.
Well, thank you, Ms. Hurst. And Mr. Rose, the same question to you, sir.
It's a great question, and I think that the context of that question really needs to be, we need to decide as a city that that's what we want to do and that's who we want to be. I've been involved in city council and the government for some time on and off, and it was decided over 10 years ago, or at least noted, that tourism was and should be our greatest asset as a destination, although the decisions that have been made since that period of time really have been more shotgun in their approach. Hence, we've not accomplished a task that I think we should have accomplished some time ago. Absolutely, the lake is one of our largest assets. I'd like to note also that I began the sports complex project over 12 years ago. I'd certainly like to see that come to fruition. I think it'll be very tough given our earlier question and the economic climate that we're in, but it's very doable. And the numbers and statistics say that it will absolutely bring a lot of folks here as a destination and boost everything that we've got as an asset.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Rose, for that answer. And Ms. Pittard, same question for you, please.
Okay, I agree with this lake being one of our best assets and the beauty of this community and the surrounding area. I think at this time we need to be very mindful of cost-effective tourism, and I think with the economic time that we're faced with right now, I think the sports complex may have to wait until we're a little bit better situated financially.
Okay. Thank you very much for your response. And now we'd like to ask our candidates the third question. How can the council, the Marble Falls Lake LBJ Chamber of Commerce, and the Marble Falls Economic Development Corporation work together more efficiently? Mr. Nash, the question goes to you first, sir.
Tom, for those three groups to work together more efficiently, we need more communication, regular communication and participation between the staffs of all three organizations and the board members and council members of those organizations to communicate regularly and to commit to building a team atmosphere and environment for us to work together in and have some common goals that we can all make strides for. There's a lot of great opportunity if we get some synergy going between those groups and just continuously make efforts to communicate well and work together.
Thank you very much for your response. Ms. Hurst, the same question to you, please.
I believe it's all about leadership in planning. Right now we need to have the right leadership in each of those entities and have the right planning. While some of the goals in each of them overlap or common, we need to not be redundant with each of the entities, but in working together. I think it is important that there is a better communication. I would even like to think that maybe entertaining maybe a quarterly workshop amongst all the entities might be helpful in that goal. But getting back to the leadership part of that, EDC really needs to get someone qualified in that position to help get their management and direction going as soon as they finish preparing their business strategic plan that the bylaws call for. But overall, with all the entities, we just need to recognize the goals and the common things that we can work together in the communication.
Good, thank you very much. And Mr. Rose, your response, sir.
Thomas, all those things are accurate. Leadership, communication, but it still comes down to a plan and if I could be so bold, a mandate. The City Council, it elects, if you will, and puts in place the board members for the EDC and should also put down a strategy. And that has not been done. They've been operated as two separate entities, hence there hasn't been commonality. We've had workshops. It just hadn't happened, and it needs to happen. I agree with the leadership side on both sides, from the council and towards the EDC, but there needs to be a lot more direction given from the council in direction, if nothing else, just that we are going to work together, we are going to find common goals, and we are going to strive to meet those goals, and we're going to put it in a short-term and long-term strategic plan.
Thank you very much. And Ms. Pittard, your response, please.
Okay, again, I agree with the other candidates on this. I also want to add that council is the entity that appoints the EDC members, and I think that's very important on the appointments. Having people that this council and chamber can work with. And we started, the three of these entities have started workshops, and we're progressively getting better at our communication.
Thank you very much. And now it's time for our fourth and final question, the wild card question. This is a question that the candidates were not prepped for. It arose from discussions with readers and viewers and from inside our own staff. We are looking for an extemporaneous and completely off-the-cuff response. And again, we'll start with candidate Ryan Nash. Mr. Nash, is the extended time for alcohol sales downtown a business boon or a business bust?
Tom, that's a business boon. I would support that. If those business owners in downtown feel like they need an extra couple of hours for alcohol sales, I would support that. I don't know what their numbers say, if that has really helped them much or how much it will help them, but if they feel like they need that advantage or that boost to their business, then I would support it.
Thank you very much. And Ms. Hurst, same question for you.
I feel the same. I am for that, especially on the Main Street district. I think it's appropriate there. I don't have any problems with that. We have a number of other restrictions and items that we can work from there. I do not believe that it's, I think the biggest scare that people had is that it's going to be available throughout the city, and that is not the case. We've planned efficiently for that in our planning and zoning, and I think the Main Street District is appropriate for that.
Oh, thank you very much. Mr. Rhodes.
I think it's both. And additionally, it's one other thing. That one other thing is too soon to tell. And I would have to be one to say I voted against it and still would not, quote, support it. Economically, so far, and again, it's too soon to tell, it's a bust. At least it hasn't lived up to its billing. But it's too early. But if it's a boon, and I think it is, quite frankly, as an attraction and a draw for funds that are difficult to track, so be it. I'm okay with it. The council, this current council, worked really hard on that question. Hence, it's somewhat contained, if you will. I hate using that word, but as Councilman Hurst or Candidate Hurst pointed out, it's not throughout the whole city, so it's too soon to tell.
Thank you. And Ms. Pitter, the same question for you, please.
Yes. The late night hours is sale of alcohol is contagious to the Main Street District, and I do support that. As I said before, an increase in business is good for the city and the businesses, though I see if there is ever a problem with that, then we can change.
Good. Thank you very much. Well, I'd like to thank our candidates for being with us here today on Tribune Talk with Thomas Edwards, Candidate Special Edition. Today, of course, we're featuring the Marble Falls City Council. I'd like to thank incumbent Councilman David Rhodes, incumbent Councilwoman Sharon Pittard, candidates Mr. Ryan Nash and Ms. Jane Marie Hurst. Also, incumbent Councilman David Eyes is also running. He could not make it here today. Remember to vote May 14th, and thank you very much for watching. This is Thomas Edwards.